Do not scroll. This is your final warning. You must not scroll past this moment because it will not wait for you again, and it will not present itself the same way again. I am speaking now to rescue you from a harm you do not fully see. The door is open. The answer is here, and the shift has already begun. Your response in this very hour will decide if it stays or slips away. Hear me. Delay is not harmless. Delay is not neutral. Delay is a decision. It is the quiet yes you give to the enemy's plan to make protection arrive too late in your life. The whisper that says later is the trap. The subtle comfort of I'll decide tonight is the doorway by which covering drains away and exposure rushes in. I am not pressuring you to fear. This is not fear speaking. This is truth, and this is protection moving toward you before impact reaches you. I have already sent a message to save you. I have already placed guidance at your feet. You do not need more information. You need an immediate decision. What keeps you safe is not endless thinking, not collecting opinions, not bargaining with time. What keeps you safe is obedience now. You are standing at a fork where obedience will secure what I sent, and hesitation will quietly pull you out from under its shelter. There is no middle ground. There is no safe delay. To wait is to choose exposure. If you choose to remain aligned with me, to hear and act, the covering strengthens. If you linger in indecision, the covering thins. I am not taking anything from you. I am protecting what I already placed in your hands. Guard your time, your energy, and your attention in this moment. Stay here. Stay present. Do not scroll. Say yes to the rescue I am placing in front of you. Type yes as your act of agreement to remain here and receive the full warning. Do it now. Your obedience in this moment is your protection. I see the place you keep postponing. I see the nights you stayed awake staring at the ceiling, counting reasons and excuses, whispering to yourself, "Tomorrow I'll decide," and then waking up with the same weight pressing on your chest. I see the days when you forced a smile so no one would ask, the private dread that tightens in your stomach when the topic rises, the quiet bargains you make with time, hoping it will somehow decide for you. I was there when you opened the message you didn't answer, when you drafted the resignation you never sent, when you rehearsed the boundary in your head and swallowed the words when it mattered. I am not distant from this ache. I am naming it because it has been naming you. Here is why you have not moved. You are afraid of being wrong, afraid of disappointing the people who have grown used to your compliance, afraid of losing the comfort that has kept you numb, and afraid of starting over with no applause. You have called it wisdom to wait, but hidden underneath is the fear of losing an identity that others prefer. Even if that identity is hurting you, you worry that if you obey me, you will be misunderstood. Hear me. I never require your collapse to protect your future. I require your courage. What you call confusion is often not confusion at all. It is clarity pressing against an old identity that wants to survive. The discomfort you feel is not random. It is my warning light, blinking on the dashboard of your life, pointing at the one decision you keep postponing. When you feel that ache, it is your future waving a flag and saying, "Turn here." This is not fear speaking. This is protection moving before impact. So answer me now. What decision have you been delaying that I am using to protect your future? You already know where it lives. In the relationship you keep justifying, in the habit you keep excusing, in the step I already told you to take. Say its name to me. Bring it into the light so it can no longer hide behind later. If you know there is one area you keep avoiding, type 222 as your act of agreement. Do not argue with the ache, honor it. It is the sound of rescue arriving. Listen to me. What you are feeling is weighty because your future is weighty. This intensity is not manipulation. This is not fear speaking. This is truth moving toward you to keep you from impact. I am not condemning you. I am correcting your course. I am not threatening you to harm you. I am warning you to save you. I am your protector, and when a car is coming, love does not whisper. Love shouts. Love reaches. Love interrupts delay before delay becomes damage. Understand the mechanics of my protection. I often protect you through instruction, not by waiting for a perfect feeling, not by giving you a mood to motivate you. Protection is attached to what I told you to do. The instruction carries the covering. When you align and act, you step under the shelter I already released. When you postpone, you step outside it. Your emotions are real, but they are not your guide. Alignment is your guide. Obedience is your safety. Consistency is your stabilizer. The miracle I sent is not maintained by excitement. It is maintained by your agreement with me in motion. There is a counterfeit voice that mimics wisdom but serves delay. It says, later. It says, be reasonable. It says, sleep on it again, until weeks become wounds. It appears calm, but it leads you into avoidable pain. It will tell you that a little more time will make the decision easier. In truth, a little more time will make the consequence harder. Hesitation is one of the ways people lose what was already meant for them. You cannot separate the blessing from the source and expect it to stay. Stay with me, move with me. The door is open, the answer is here, and the shift has already begun. But the window is time-sensitive. Your response in this very hour will decide if it strengthens or slips away. If you receive my protection like this video as your act of agreement, not as entertainment but as alignment, then say aloud, I choose instruction over delay. Type 333 if you agree. Guard your time, your energy, and your attention. Choose me now. You are standing at a fork in the road. Do not call it a hallway when it is a hinge. One turn is obedience and alignment. The other is distraction and drift. One turn is faith expressed as action. The other is delay dressed as prudence. This is the turning point where what I sent is secured by your yes, or slowly loosened by your wandering attention. Your life moves in the direction of the choice you make right now. Hear me clearly. Small delays become big losses. One more week to think. One more call for advice. One more conversation to keep the peace. Each one more is not neutral. It weakens your grip. It thins the covering. It allows voices I did not send to negotiate against what I already made plain. The longer you rehearse the same reasons, the less strength you feel to do the right thing. You do not need more time. You need accurate motion. Distraction rarely announces itself as rebellion. It disguises itself as wisdom that overthinks until clarity feels complicated. It hides as endless research so you can feel productive while remaining uncommitted. It requests more signs after I have already confirmed, calling it being careful while it feeds your fear. It gathers opinions to dilute conviction. It asks for perfect conditions so that obedience never begins. Understand the consequence without exaggeration. Delay does not always destroy the blessing, but it can make you miss the timing and the protection attached to it. A train not boarded still exists, but you are no longer on schedule with it. The miracle I released is real, but the window that shields you is time-bound. When you drift, you step out from under the margin of safety I attach to swift obedience. Choose now. Choose alignment over drift. Choose faith over delay. Say out loud, I choose obedience. Then type 777 if you are securing what I sent and refusing the quiet theft of distraction today. Turn toward me. Act with me. Stay with me. Now we get specific. Delay dissolves when it is cornered by clarity. You will not overcome delay until you locate the exact decision you are avoiding and call it by its name. I am placing 3 lanes in front of you, so you cannot hide behind generalities. Your delayed decision is usually in one of 3 places: who you keep, what you feed, or what you refuse to do. Relationship lane, who you keep. Hear me. Staying tied to what drains you, confuses you, or pulls you back into an older version of yourself is not loyalty. It is self-betrayal. Chemistry without peace is not confirmation. Excitement without alignment is not covenant. If you must shrink to stay, you will starve what I sent to grow. If their words blur your clarity, if their presence stirs old appetites I delivered you from, if you feel most yourself only when you silence your spirit, this is not safety. I am not asking you to be cruel. I am commanding you to be clear. Separation is not punishment. It is protection. Habit lane, what you feed. The cycle that numbs you is an agreement with delay, scrolling that eats your hours, substances that fog your mind, lust and secret tabs that fracture your focus, compulsive spending that mortgages your future, rage that keeps you reactive, comfort eating that buries emotion instead of healing it, procrastination that steals open windows. These are not harmless. They are rituals that align you with drift. Discipline is not restriction. It is protection. Break the ritual. Starve the cycle. Guard your time, your energy, and your attention. Obedience lane, what you refuse to do. The step is simple, not small. The apology you owe. The boundary you must state. The quitting you have delayed. The application you keep saving in drafts. The move you keep mapping but not making. The start you keep announcing but not beginning. The confession you keep postponing. The rest you keep denying. The return to prayer you keep excusing. I already told you. Do it now. Name it publicly. In the comments, write one word: relationship, habit, or obedience. Do not explain. Declare. When you name it, the covering strengthens. Say out loud, I choose alignment over delay, and type your word now. Listen to me. Protection is not only a promise, it is a window. I can place provision in your path. I can arrange the people, the clarity, the open door. But you must move when I prompt, because timing is part of the covering I attach to the promise. The instruction and the moment travel together. When you step in the moment I mark, you step under shelter. When you postpone what I made plain, you walk beside the shelter instead of beneath it. The promise does not evaporate, but the margin of safety narrows. Understand the window effect. Some warnings are designed to prevent collision altogether. If you move with me, you never meet the impact you were headed toward. But if you ignore what I say, you do not remove the lesson. You relocate it. You learn it through contact instead of avoidance. Later becomes louder pain, deeper entanglement, higher cost, harder exit. This is why I interrupt you. This is why I raise my voice. Not to frighten you, to spare you. This is not about worthiness. This is about alignment. You are not earning my love by moving quickly. You are positioning yourself to be protected by staying close enough to respond when I speak. You cannot separate the blessing from the source and expect it to stay. Alignment is your access. Proximity is your protection. Your emotions are real, but they are not your guide. My prompting is your guide. Obedience is your safety. Do not romanticize later. Later is how weeds take the field while you debate planting. Later is how voices you should not trust feel necessary. Later is how what used to be a simple boundary becomes a complicated break. Move when I move. Act while the light is green. Guard your time, your energy, and your attention. If you choose the window over the wait, say out loud, I choose timing and obedience. Then type now to reject delay and receive clarity for immediate action. Your response in this very hour decides if the covering strengthens or slips away. You call it confusion. I call it a test. Not a test of information, but a test of allegiance. Whose voice rules you when the cost rises? Who is your master when comfort argues and control demands proof? You are not lacking clarity. You are confronting your true loyalty. People-pleasing is bidding for ownership. Fear of loss is making its case. Addiction to comfort is whispering for delay. The need to manage every outcome is negotiating for more time. This is where your heart is revealed, not in what you say you believe, but in what you obey when it hurts. Listen to how these tests work. I allow pressure to return to the same point because that point is unhealed and undecided. The face can change, the setting can change, the stakes can change, but the lesson remains until it is claimed. That is why it feels like you keep circling the same mountain, same conversation you avoid, same boundary you won't state, same habit that returns. The cycle is not random. It is repetition with purpose. I am not punishing you. I am proving what you serve. Confusion is often the fogs created when you try to keep two masters pleased at once. Stop bargaining with me as if I have not spoken. If you give me one more sign, if you make it unmistakable, the sign already came when your peace left. The sign already came when conviction rose every time you approached that line. The sign already came when doors began closing gently instead of slamming, when the counsel you once craved lost its sweetness, when your spirit became restless in places that used to fit. Do not call it unclear when it is simply costly. Do not name it mystery when it is mercy insisting you move. I am not shaming you. I am inviting you to repent, to change direction now. You do not need perfection. You need surrender and movement. Yield your need to please, your craving for comfort, your grip on control. Say out loud, "You are my master." Then move in the direction I already revealed. Discipline is not restriction, it is protection. Your emotions are real, but they are not your guide. My prompting is, if you are ready to stop negotiating and start obeying, type 333 as your act of agreement. Your response in this very hour will decide if this test closes as testimony or resets as a trap. Choose me. Move now. Stay aligned. Hear me. Break the old environment. New favor cannot survive in old cycles. The blessing I sent is alive, but environment is the oxygen it breathes. You cannot carry new favor into old cycles and expect it to remain untouched. If you keep the old cycle, you will keep the old consequences. Protection demands separation. I am not taking from you, I am shielding what I placed within you. Separation is not punishment, it is protection. Name the cycles you keep returning to, the same conversations that bait you into defending what I already told you to leave, the same late-night spirals that pull you into endless scrolling and private storms, the same secret compromises you call small that reopen doors I closed, the same toxic access that gives familiar voices permission to confuse you again, just to check on them, just one more night, just one more look. Each just is a rope tying you to a shore I am asking you to leave. What you call losing is often me rescuing you. I am removing invitations that would later destroy your peace. I am closing rooms where your future kept shrinking. I am letting certain numbers stop ringing, certain platforms feel empty, certain doors feel heavier to open. This is not rejection. This is redirection. This is me cutting the cords that keep you circling the mountain. I will not let what I gave you be bled out by what I already exposed. Here is how you cooperate with rescue. Limit access, block the number, mute the thread, unfollow the feed that disturbs your spirit, change your route home so you stop passing the trigger, delete the apps that eat your hours, replace late-night scrolling with prayer, planning, and rest. Throw away the bottle, the stash, the secret passwords. Remove the photos, the playlists, the clothes that reopen wounds. Stop visiting places, digital or physical, that keep you vulnerable. Their page, their street, their break room, their Friday night. Say out loud, separation is my protection. Alignment is my access. Guard your time, your energy, and your attention. Your emotions are real, but they are not your guide. My prompting is, if you accept that some things must be released for protection, type 888 now. Your response in this very hour will decide if the new life breathes or the old cycle steals its air. Discipline is not restriction. It is the system that keeps you safe. Hear me. I am giving you spiritual technology, not rules to cage you, but rails that carry you quickly when storms rise. Discipline guards your time so you stop giving your hours to what steals your future. Discipline guards your attention so you can hear me promptly and move while the window is open. Discipline guards your sleep so your body does not betray your spirit with exhaustion. Discipline guards your inputs, what you watch, read, and allow, so your inner room remains clean enough to recognize my whisper. Discipline guards your reactions, so the first impulse is not your master and you do not undo progress with a moment of heat. This is how you stay aligned. This is how you remain covered. Your emotions are real, but they are not your guide. Do not confuse intensity for instruction. Excitement can start you, but it cannot keep you. Fear can jolt you, but it cannot steer you. My prompting is your guide. Alignment is your map. Obedience is your safety. When your feelings surge, return to the system. When distraction calls, return to the system. The system is how you outlast mood swings, opinions, and pressure. Here is your simple daily rule of life to stabilize what I sent. Begin with morning stillness, 10 quiet minutes of breathing, listening, and writing what I highlight. Do one act of obedience you already know. Send the message, set the appointment, make the call, start the task. Keep one clear boundary, state it once, honor it all day. Avoid one known trigger, change the route, remove the access, cancel the visit. End with one gratitude practice. Name 3 protections you saw today so your eyes learn to find me fast. Repeat tomorrow, repeat the day after. Consistency is what protects your miracle. Understand this clearly. The safety you're praying for is often built through discipline, not miracles that override your habits. I can open doors, but discipline keeps you inside the house once you enter. I can send clarity, but discipline keeps your mind uncluttered enough to hold it. I can remove the trap, but discipline keeps your feet from drifting back to its edge. If you will choose consistency over intensity, type 999 now, then live this system today. Your response in this very hour will decide if the covering strengthens or thins. Stay aligned, stay steady, stay safe. Here is your 24-hour obedience plan. Not tomorrow, before the day ends. Protection becomes real when you take one obedient step today, not when you feel ready someday. Your emotions are real, but they are not your guide. My prompting is your guide. Alignment is your access. Obedience is your safety. Do exactly this. First, name the decision. One sentence. Write it in your notes and speak it. Today I will blank. No poetry, no paragraphs. Precision over performance. When you name it, you corner delay and remove its disguise. Second, remove one source of delay. Block the number that keeps reopening the door. Mute the thread that floods you with noise. Delete the app that eats your hours. Throw away the object that keeps you tethered. Cancel the meeting that exists to keep you undecided. Clarity accelerates when access narrows. Third, take one irreversible step. Small but final. Send the boundary text. Delete the app. Schedule the appointment. Submit the application. End the hidden conversation. Start the first page and save it in a dated folder. The step does not have to be loud to be final. Make it a door you cannot quietly reopen. Fourth, tell one safe person. Safe means aligned with me and your future, not impressed by your past. Share the sentence, the step, and the timestamp. Ask for accountability. Send the screenshot. Put it on the calendar. Do not announce a big change while secretly keeping access to the old cycle. That is how people rehearse freedom, but keep the key under the mat. Fifth, pray and seal it. I choose alignment over delay. I renounce access to old cycles. Establish me in obedience now. Sit in stillness for 3 minutes and let your peace confirm the seal. You have 24 hours. Guard your time, your energy, and your attention. When you complete one step, comment "Done." Your response in this very hour will decide if the covering strengthens or thins. Move now. Stay aligned. Stay safe. Now we seal it. Hear me. You cannot separate the blessing from the source and expect it to remain. Alignment is your access. Proximity is your protection. What I placed in your hands is real, but it is sustained by staying close to me, listening when I whisper, moving when I nudge, obeying when I instruct. Do not try to keep the gift while drifting from the giver. When you remain aligned with me, it grows stronger. When you drift, it becomes harder to hold. This is not punishment. This is protection. Close the loop on delay. If you return to postponement, you return to exposure. If you go back to later, you reopen doors I just helped you close. If you water old conversations with new attention, you starve the future you just chose. Keep your yes. Guard your boundaries. Honor the step you took today by reinforcing it tomorrow. Your emotions are real, but they are not your guide. My prompting is your guide. Discipline is not restriction. It is the system that keeps what I sent from slipping through your fingers. I am with you. I will strengthen you. I will give you language when it's time to speak, courage when it's time to stand, and restraint when silence is your shield. I will steady your hands when fear trembles them, but you must move when I speak. You must return quickly when you feel drift. Do not disappear into shame if you stumble. Repent fast, realign, and re-enter the covering. Consistency is what protects your miracle. Now, seal it. Say out loud, I remain aligned. I choose obedience over delay. I keep the covering by staying close. Your response in this very hour will decide if it stays or slips away. The door is open. The answer is here. The warning has been given. Choose now. Type yes again to reaffirm alignment. Then share this with someone stuck in delay as an act of protection. Guard your time, your energy, and your attention. Stay close. Stay covered. Stay safe.